Hey everyone, Cable with the Antique Book Collective, and today I'm getting to you guys with another Work With Me video. So this Work With Me video, I'm just going to dive right on in to save some time because I know that these go very long very often. So with that said, I'm just going to dive right on in. Alright, so as you can see here, here's the voting. It's on the Antique Book Collective Community tab, which is on Facebook. You guys need to join that to be able to vote. In the future, once we get enough subscribers, we'll be able to do this on YouTube and on this, preferably just on YouTube long term. But for now, we're doing Facebook also because YouTube doesn't let me do it until I get 500 subscribers. But as you guys can see, we are in Tallahassee, Florida for this time. This is where everyone voted. So I'm just going to get right to it. So booksalefinder.com, that's what I always use because I like booksalefinder.com because I love the Friends of the Library book sales. It's where I make so much of my money. That being said, it's not the only place that I make money. I actually just finished unpacking a ton of stuff from an estate sale. I'm looking at it over there. I got over 1,000 books, and I paid overall with everything that I got a little over $1,000. So it was a lot of books. The first batch that I bought, I paid $5 a piece for books, which is so insanely high. I don't normally pay that much. But for the second batch, they invited me back because they wanted to clear out some more books. So I got them for $1 a piece. Honestly, I probably could have gotten it for cheaper, but $1 a piece is pretty good. That is my average usually. So I was able to pick up a ton of books, and I actually think it is possibly a literal ton of books. And it was a lot of steps to bring it in. I mean, I was tapped out. I'm still a little bit tapped out if we're being honest, but that's not what we're here to talk about. So here we are. We're on booksalefinder.com for the Florida one. Just looking down here, it looks like we have, so right now it's the 13th of October, so I'm looking for stuff happening on the weekend. So just gonna click right here. Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. Gonna click right here just so we can see the weekend. So the weekend is 15 and 16. Odds are there are some Friends of the Library sales or estate sales going on that probably will start on the 14th, except now that I'm looking at it, there are none that start on the 14th, so that's pretty nice for the book sale finder, but when we check out the estate sales, there might be some there. So with that said, I'm also going to just type in Florida map really quick just so we can have the map pulled up so we can get an idea on where things are because I'm not from Florida, so I don't know where all the towns are. I know where the big ones are, but that doesn't really mean that we are going to be seeing just big ones when we look at booksalefinder.com. So with that said, just going to let it load on up. Sorry it's taking a little bit longer. My computer is old and a little bit slow today. So sorry about that. Hopefully it's not going to be too much of an issue. It's normally better than this, but I think it's just angry at me today because I bought a new computer. I think it's just a little bit jealous. I don't know. But back to what I was saying about this estate sale that I just got back from. So I did it, the first video, I think I did it on, I did it on Thursday was my first trip. I talked about it in my last Work With Me video. And in that one, it was pretty funny because, like, I wasn't even able to make it to the premiere because I try to make it to the premiere so I can answer all you guys' questions. If you guys do have questions, you can ask them. I think it's over there. It might be over there. Is the live chat if you're on desktop. If you're on mobile, I think it's down below. But with that said, though, we have the Florida map and we have this. So we have Celebration, Perry, Plantation, Wildwood, Pensacola. Pensacola is not very close to Tallahassee, so that's probably not going to be where we go. But just got to open up the map really quick. Sorry again, it's taking so long. But yeah, this estate sale that I just finished getting all these books at, I was able to get quite a few, and it was good and it was bad. There were definitely some really cool books that I got there. I haven't run numbers on how much all of them are worth. Like, I haven't gone through each individual one. I haven't listed them all. In fact, I haven't even listed one yet. But I'm pretty confident that I'll be making at least $15,000 off this because at a very minimum, I should be getting $15 per book on these. And since I have over 1,000 books, that's $15,000. But if you guys have been watching me for a little while, you know that my average sales price has been $70. Now, with that said, I do not think that this estate sale that I just finished up with, I do not think the average sale price from this is going to be $70. Not only were the books like not all fan-stinking-tastic, but also something I've noticed is with the recession coming on, a lot of my higher value books are not worth what they used to be. So for instance, I actually just sold a set of The Old West books. So just going to grab one of these. So these are the Old West books. They're done by Time Life magazine. So I just sold a giant set of these, and I sold them for $100. a few months ago, those things were worth $180 all day long. So I do think I could have gotten more than $100 for it, but that's just what I ended up going for. So it's sold. It sold relatively quickly, but that's not to say that it's going to continue being nice like that. And here we go. Here's Tallahassee. So I guess Pensacola is close enough to Tallahassee that it could be worth it. I thought Tallahassee was a little bit further to the east, but I guess not. So Pensacola actually is, as I mentioned earlier, Pensacola actually is something that we might end up going to. So with that said, Celebration, Perry, Plantation, Wildwood, Pensacola, and that's it. So Pensacola, I would like to point out, it starts on the 18th, which is Tuesday. So that doesn't really make it for the weekend, which is what we're going for this video. So I guess at the end of the day, we're not going to be doing the Pensacola one, but I am going to be opening that up just so we can look at it. So let's just look right here. $1 paperback, $2 hardcover. So that's a fair enough deal. It's at a library, and it looks like it's just a monthly sort of sale that they run potentially. They don't say anything about the books though, so a lot of people would see that as a red flag. For me, I don't personally care because I normally have a lot of luck at those kinds of ones where they don't tell you how many books they have or they don't give you all the information. And I have a lot of that luck because a lot of other booksellers don't end up going to these places, which means that it's basically a free ride for me. I can go around, poke around as slow as I want, as long as I want, and it's basically all mine. So with that said, I'm just going to open up these other 4 really quick. And Wildwood, Florida, first things first. Let's see if we can see Wildwood just on here. I don't see it, so I'm just going to type in Wildwood. Oh, there's Perry, down and right, so southeast from here. So we do know that Perry is close, which is the second one that we're going to. So let me just pull up Perry right here. All right, so 2,000 books, that is close enough, and 2,000 books is a pretty good amount of books to have. 20% donated. That is a little bit of a red flag for me. It shows that most of these books are probably going to be ex-library books. Not saying there's no money in those, just saying that there is a little bit of a red flag there. So 80% of them are hardcovers. That does make me think that there are a lot of ex-library books that are higher quality, because libraries, a lot of them will have hardcover books and they'll have paperbacks, but a lot of the ones that are good and will last and will like stay better condition longer term are the hardcover ones, because hardcover ones are made to last, whereas paperbacks are sort of made to throw away in the long run. So it's nice that there's so many hardcovers, because those do hold more value as well because they last longer. So sorted, not picked over, no buyer restrictions, all nice stuff. Most books are 25 cents each, which is pretty nice, or 5 for $1. That's even better. Magazines are 5 cents. If you guys sell magazines, 5 cents per magazine is pretty stinking nice. I've paid as much as 10 cents. Personally, I don't like magazines at all. I've done a video on that, so you guys can check that out. Check out my channel below, but I don't like magazines personally. There's a lot of just random hoops to jump through, but that is something that could definitely be worth doing. So not picked over, no buyer restrictions. As I said, that's very good. And for the magazines thing, 6 for 25 cents, that's pretty good. So this Perry one, I would say, is definitely worth going to if there are more things going on around there. So with that said, back to what we were doing earlier, which was Wildwood, Florida, trying to find out if that's anywhere close to where we want to go. So we got the villages. Oh, we are clearly not very close to Tallahassee. So I know that's not too much of a drive, and it definitely could be worth going to. So I'm not going to close out of Wildwood. I'm not going to say we're not going to go there, but it is a little bit of a drive. Since it's on the way, since Perry is on the way to this one, it could potentially be worth going to, but we'll see basically based on how many other estate sales and Friends of the Library sales there are closer to Tallahassee, because honestly, no one wants to drive miles and miles for a book sale. So with that said, I'm just going to exit out of that one. So we have Wildwood, now on to Plantation. We don't know where Plantation, Florida is just yet, so just going to type that one in. Pulling it up. All right, looks like it's a pretty populated area. Looks like I'd guess around Miami. Yeah, so that one definitely is too far to drive, I would say, for this one, especially since we do know there are some options closer by. So we are definitely not going to do Plantation, Florida, which is nice. I always like to cross out a few of the book sales. I know I didn't look too deeply at what they were doing at that one, but it is a long drive. So with that said, on to Celebration, Florida, which I think is actually a pretty neat name for a town. Celebration, Florida. All right, looks like we're a little more rural, so I'd guess, okay, that's around where I guessed. So I guess that wouldn't be too bad if we were doing the, let me just hop back up. What was it? Wildwood, was that one Yeah, I think Wildwood was the one that was closest to this. So honestly, if we were doing Wildwood, we could definitely do this one as well. I'm just going to look at what this one offers. 50 to 60 boxes of books. So for me, since I've done this long enough, I know about how many books you can fit in a box. I find that I can normally fit 20 easy cheesy, potentially 30, depending on the books. You can even do more than that, but 20 to 30 books. So I'm just going to pull up my calculator. Excuse me. Going to pull up my calculator so we can get some more accurate numbers. So on the absolute low end of how many books they have, so let's say 50 boxes times 20 books a box, that's 1,000 books. And on the high end, 60 boxes, let's say 40 books per box, so that's 2,400 books. So not the biggest one in the universe, but it is a good sized sale. It looks like it's only running Saturday, which is pretty nice because that means that not a lot of the other booksellers are probably going to risk going there and risk not having something really good, because they're going to be like, oh, it's only one day. I don't know if I really want to go there because there's this other one. And it's really nice if you guys sort of learn what the booksellers near you like doing and what they look for. You can learn to avoid those things, so then you don't have to compete with them. You don't have to pay more because all these other booksellers are going there. You don't have to rush there. You don't have to do all these other things if you can just avoid all the other booksellers. So with that said, though, the estate sale that I've mentioned a couple times now, when I went there, there were tons and tons and tons of books. The first day I went there before the actual estate sale happened, and I bought a ton of the books, as I mentioned earlier. I paid a little under $700. I want to say like $8 under, something like that. So I paid a lot of money for 170 books, something like that. A lot of money. I got a good deal on just 2 sets of them, so that's why it didn't math exactly for $5 a book. But I was able to do all that, and then they called me back after the weekend because they didn't have a lot of other booksellers come in. In fact, it didn't look like they sold many books at all over the weekend. So when I went back and bought up more of the books, I was able to get a good deal. I didn't have to rush because there weren't any other booksellers, because for me, where I live in Portland area, I actually live in Gresham, which is a suburb, and for the record, if you guys don't like Portland, Gresham, we hated Portland first. That's like a Gresham value, I believe, is not liking Portland because Portland ruined our city. That's sort of a joke, sort of not, I don't know. But that's just been something that's always been like a running joke, is the rivalry between Gresham and Portland. I don't know why, but it always has been. It's just like the east side, west side rivalry that we have here, because we have a river that cuts through Portland, and like West side doesn't like east side thinks west side's trash, so I don't know. But with all that said, though, that's just something that I think's a little bit funny. And for me, though, back to what I was saying, is a lot of these booksellers that do it around me, they only really stick on the east side. The east side, again, since it's where the rich people think that west side's trash, a lot of those people only stick to east side, and they won't really venture west side. And those that do venture west side, they won't go past a part of Gresham which is called Rockwood, which is one of the highest crime areas on the west coast. That's always fun. For me, I personally like Rockwood a lot. I like the people there. I've worked there quite a while, and it's sort of a part of me, I guess. I don't know. But I like Rockwood, and because I like it and all these other booksellers don't like it, especially the high-end ones, I'm normally the only bookseller going to these places. I go in, I grab all these books, I get some great deals because since it's the trashy part of town, they don't charge a lot for these books. And honestly, once you get past Rockwood-ish, you're paying like $1 per book as far out as you want to go for any estate sales, which is really stinking nice for me. Whereas if you go anywhere west of that, towards the rich people, you have a lot more expensive books. Like the people that I bought these books from for this estate sale, they normally run their estate sales on the west side, and on the west side, $5 per book is totally normal. And I told these guys when I got there, I was like, $5 per book, and where I did it was out in Sandy. I was telling them, though, I was like, $5 per book, that's probably not going to fly because no one charges that much for books out here, because out here, we're doing $1 or $2 a book just because that's sort of how it runs out here. So that's just a lot of stuff that could really help you guys if you find out where are the cheap spots, where are all the other booksellers that are driving up prices, all that sort of stuff. So with that said, though, back on to Celebration, Florida, we don't have a whole lot of books, so between 1,000 and maybe 2,500 if we're being excessive. 80% donated, that is a good sign. 50% hardcover, not the best sign, but 50% is not bad. Not picked over, very good. Sorted, very good. No buyer restrictions, very good. $3 per plastic grocery bag, that is the gold right there, guys. So, excuse me. So $3 for a grocery bag. Just thinking right now, I would say I could easily fit 15 books in a grocery bag, probably 10 all day. But like for me, I'm better at packing books. Like you guys should see some of the books boxes of books that I packed. I brought a couple totes from home for this estate sale that I did, and I would say in one of the totes for my biggest one, I probably fit 60 books in it, which is uncanny. I mean, there's like zero wiggle room in these things, and personally, when I'm packing my things, I like to make sure there's no wiggle room, because wiggle room means things can get torn, things can get tweaked, all that sort of stuff. So I try to pack it in there so nothing moves around. But with that said, a plastic bag, you can easily fit 10 books in there if you're inexperienced, and if you're paying $3 for 10 books, that's a pretty good deal. So I would say the Celebration Florida one is a pretty good deal. It is a little bit of a drive from Tallahassee, as you guys can see here. I don't know if it's really the end of the world if you don't do it, but since we have Perry here and our other one was somewhere around here, I would say you could definitely swing that. So with that said, I'm just going to look this over one more time. So Wildwood, I don't think I actually looked at this one very much. We have a warehouse clearance sale, which is very good. Most never in book rooms, which is even better. That means these things are not looked through. Friends of the Village Library, library weeding resumed after COVID. That's interesting. What does it mean by library? Oh, library weeding, like they're weeding out the unread books. I see now. No shorter hours. There's the hours, books. There's a bag sale. Bag sales are really nice. Filling a box for $4, that's even nicer, because as I said earlier, you could fit a lot more books in a box than you can in a bag, so that is something that could be definitely nice. So if you guys wait until Monday to do this, it could definitely make you a lot more money. Cash only though, that is something very, very interesting. A lot of the ones that I see, they do accept credit cards because a credit card isn't that hard to run, but with cash only, that is a big red flag for a lot of booksellers. A lot of other booksellers, from what I found, they will not pay cash for things. They only want to pay credit cards. So back to what I was saying about Portland, like all the Portlanders, they love their credit cards, they love their debit cards, all that sort of stuff. A lot of them, I know a lot of people that refuse to even carry cash. They're like, oh, it's not safe, oh, it's dirty, all that sort of stuff, so they won't carry cash. And for me, I only pay in cash 99% of the time, and I try to always keep enough cash on hand that I can pay in exact bills. I've mentioned that in another video in my channel, so you can check that video out. But it's, I think, under my negotiating and estate sales thing. But if you guys can carry cash, it's the best thing. You guys can get some good sales that a lot of other people won't go to, because a lot of other people don't like carrying around cash. For me personally, I like to carry around well over $1,000 just in my normal life. With my book sale business, I carry a lot more than that, because as I said earlier, guys, that estate sale that I just did, I'm looking at all the books over there, that estate sale that I just did, I paid over $1,000 for all those books. So obviously I need a little bit more than $1,000 if I'm buying that many books. So with all that said though, back onto this, it's cash only, public welcome sort of thing, which is very interesting. I personally would actually absolutely go to this Wildwood, Florida one. I wish they said how many books they had. I know it says that they have an ongoing sale with 8,000 books, so personally I would not be surprised if their warehouse for this probably has another 10,000 books potentially. I think that might be a little bit excessive, maybe more like 5,000, but at the end of the day, that's a very, very large sale, so it would definitely be worth going to. And honestly, guys, with this fill-a-box sale at the very end, I don't see why you would not want to go to this. So this Wildwood, Florida one, honestly, I think that is going to be the go-to place for this one. So just gonna look at where that is again. All right, so just thinking really quick as we do this, that is not very far from our other ones. So maybe we will hit like all three in this potential one that we're looking at, or maybe we will stretch it across a couple days. I've actually had different times where I've gone to several different estate sales and Friends of the Library sales over an entire weekend. Like when I was doing this business full-time, like actual full-time for a small business owner, you know, like the 80-hour work weeks sort of small business people. When I did that, I actually did hit several estate sales and Friends of the Library sales in a week. I would hit the ongoing ones, I would hit Goodwill Outlet, I would do all these sorts of things. I'd be sourcing all week long, and I'd be getting thousands of books. And because I put in so much time, I'd obviously make a lot more money. So with that said though, I think Wildwood will be our go-to place. I'm just going to see the Wildwood to oh guys, I'm going to spell Tallahassee so wrong. I'm so sorry. Tallahassee. There we go. Tallahassee, Florida. Sorry. Wildwood to Tallahassee, Florida. Sorry for doing this. So it looks like if you take the bus, it's 3 hours. So I'm guessing an actual drive is going to be a chunk less than that. Driving, it says 4.5 hours. So there's that. I guess that's not too terrible. I mean, I've driven a whole lot more for sales before, so I think 4 hours is definitely easy to do. I would personally do that. So we're going to definitely say we're going to do the Wildwood, Florida one. So just zooming in a little bit more, let me just look at if we can find a zip code. Is this zip code? That doesn't look like the right zip code. Oh, here we go. I was about to say 77. That is not a Florida zip code. So here's our zip code here, and the reason why you need zip code is for estatesales.com and estatesales.net and estatesales.org. Honestly, I wish there was an estatesale.com. I think it's still a website for sale, so if you guys want to start it, I think it's URL you can buy, but until you guys buy it, we're going to have to suffer. So with that said, though, I do not think that we need the map pulled up anymore because, as I've mentioned in other videos, the estate sales things let you type in where you want to go. So estatesales.net. Sorry, that didn't open up earlier. Exiting out of that. And remember, I copied the zip code that we need already, so just going to do that one. And then I'm going to hop over on this one. And as you guys probably know, if you've done this before, there will be a lot of listings that are basically shared between the two different websites, but there are definitely some that are not. So with that said, I'm just looking at this. I'm going to actually make it less than 30 miles. Let's do 15 miles. Even that's a little bit much, but I think that's a little bit more appropriate. And for this one, going to do less than 50 miles. Let's do 10. All right, so here we have some estate sales, making sure that they are not ones that go past this weekend. So we have one that's going on. Oh, it's ending today, actually. I'm just going to look at that one just because. Here we go. This one's Friday, Saturday. Friday, Saturday. Looks like Friday starts. I don't know when it stops. And 19. Hang on, this is next week. That's interesting. So not doing this one. So I think we're good on this. And let's just look at what they have. So something I like about estatesales.org is the fact that you can just look at the photos without looking at all the info. That's always nice, but seeing all the info is nice sometimes. So this is one that if you wanted to drive right now, you guys could definitely go to. Just scrolling through really quick. All right, we have some books. I'm just looking at these. None of these are older books, but you could probably get $10 a piece for them, easy cheesy. So if you guys were doing that for your business, could definitely do it. Here are some more books. None of them look too old. Again, $10 a piece, easy cheesy. Probably more like 20 on the high end, but $10 all day, I'd say. Of course, there are probably some that are cheaper. Since they are newer books, they're not really my expertise, and honestly, just looking at them, I can't be absolutely certain, but none of them look too exciting. On to the next sale, though. Let's see. All right, I don't see many books. I was going to say any, but here are a couple. None of these look too valuable, though, so on to the next one. Just going through really quick. I've mentioned this in other videos. I like bar stools. I don't know why, guys. That's sort of my thing, I guess. I don't know. I've seen some pretty cool ones in my day, so I guess I'm just addicted to bar stools, so I always like checking them out. I don't own any, though, so maybe that's why. I don't see any books yet, though, so going down. See a lot of cool odds and ends, though. Ooh, guys, look, hole punchers. I always wanted to buy 3. Not really. That was a joke. All right, so nothing too exciting. I got a record player or an LP printer. Sorry, player, I guess. I don't know. Going here, we have a golf cart. You guys could buy a golf cart for your book business. That'd be actually sort of funny to do. Golf clubs. Don't think you need that for your book business, though. That'd be a little weird to explain on your taxes. All right, we got some books here. I'm just going to... Ooh, some more here. I'm just going to keep scrolling, though, so we can check out if there's any other stuff. Something that's interesting is cars. You guys can get some really good deals on a lot of cars at a lot of estate sales. So potentially if you need a vehicle for your business, you could buy a car at an estate sale. But that's not really what I've done yet. Honestly, I've looked at a couple of vehicles at some estate sales, though, and been very tempted. As I've mentioned in other videos, I'm working on starting a gold mine, and actually this estate sale that I've mentioned several times now, they actually had a dozer. It wasn't a running dozer, but I'm like, ooh, I need a dozer. So I thought that was a little bit funny that they had that there. They were charging a lot more for it than what it was worth, though, so that's always a red light. All right, so looking here, we have a ton of newer books. Here on the bottom, there are a couple that I think would be potentially older, but most of these books here, I would say, are probably 60s and newer, which might sound a little bit old to you guys. Some people will say it's antique, but it's not really an antique. But here we are. I would say that I wouldn't buy any books on this shelf per se. Faded Banners, that's a weird title. America in 1837, 1537, I don't know. Sorry, with some of these grainier photos, it can be a little bit hard to tell, especially when you're trying to read while you're on video. But yeah, none of these look too exciting. None of them look too valuable either to me. Definitely there would be some that could be worth as much as $30, potentially more, but I would say some are probably worth at least $30. So you could definitely make some money on this, but definitely not enough for me to be like so excited about this sale. Going back here, so there's the one we already looked at. Here's the other one. Here's where I would be a little bit more excited. So here on this top shelf, you have what looks like a set of books. It looks like it's potentially on presidents. I recognize a few of these presidents, so that'd be something that could be definitely worth some money. If it's a rarer set, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this set could be worth over $200 if it's a little bit rare. Here's a interesting set of books. I don't know what they are, but they could definitely be worth something. Here's another set. I would say you could probably get $80 for this set all day. I don't know what it is. Ooh, here's one that I actually do like. So this is the Civil War set that we have, these 3 books here. I've sold this one before. I think I sold it for $75. Then I got another one and sold it for like $80. But I see a lot of other listings for it for well over $100. I've seen that at least. Could be worth less now, but those 3 books look very beautiful. Definitely better than a lot of the ones that I've seen. But this is definitely a set that has made me some good money. I don't know what these books are. These books are definitely a set though, so you could sell those. As you guys could tell, I like selling sets. I make a lot of money selling sets. As I mentioned earlier, I sold that Old West set, that I mentioned earlier. I only did $100 for that, but I definitely could have done more. So sets are a big moneymaker for me. Here's a set. I think this might be a newer version of this set that I mentioned earlier. I don't recall for sure, but I do know I've seen this one before. That one's definitely worth money. I just don't remember what it's worth. So here's a set. Don't know how much that'd be worth. Here's another one. I don't know which ones these are, so I don't know. Here's a set. This one would definitely be worth $150 all day long, I'd guess, with how many books are in it. So that'd be definitely worth looking at. But yeah, this shelf is gold right here, guys. Like, I would actually go to this estate sale simply for these books. And a lot of the things that I can see are definitely Civil War era things. This person must have been a Civil War nerd, which is pretty cool because the Civil War was a pretty influential, world-changing war, honestly. Like, the technologies and the things that happened to America in that war, I mean, it's worth looking up just because of how much it changed things. Like, people always talk about World War II. I feel like the Civil War should be one of those ones that people always talk about also, just because of all the stuff that happened in that war. I mean, there's a lot of interesting history there. But yeah, that bookshelf right there, I would say would be easily worth $1,000 all day long. And if you guys are buying these books for $1 a piece, personally, if I was here and I was buying $1 a piece, I would probably be like, hey, I'll take the entire shelf for, let's say, not just $1 a piece, but maybe 75 cents a piece, and just say I'll take the whole shelf of books, because people like getting rid of an entire shelf of books. It's a lot more of a like check off for them. They're like, whew, I got rid of half my books or something like that. And since they had 2 shelves, I would say getting rid of one whole shelf they'd be very excited for. So that'd be definitely something that I would definitely put a bid on or talk about, because I would definitely buy these. In fact, I'm a little bit sad that it's not buying me, because those are some very, very good books. I've sold several of these before. So with that said, though, I'm exiting out of this, going on to the details tab just so we can get some more information. So this is the Villages, Florida, which, if you guys remember, is right next to Wildwood. So yeah, let's say we're doing the Wildwood one, which I've mentioned before. So definitely hitting the Friends of the Library sale. Let's just see the times. 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then we're looking at the times on this one. Looks like, well, actually, let's look at the day really quick. So October 9 to 1. So for Saturday, let's look at Saturday, so 9 to 3. So I would do the Friends of the Library sale first, and then I would go to this one personally, because the Friends of the Library sale probably has a whole lot of really nice gems in it, and I wouldn't expect too many booksellers to go to this particular estate sale, because this estate sale does not have so many books that it's like, oh wow, I'm going to this. The ones that I would expect a lot of booksellers to go to, would be the ones that have like I'm going to say at least 4 shelves of books. If it's only 2 shelves, people generally overlook it. However, that being said, a lot of booksellers will see, as I mentioned earlier, the sets of books. When you see those on a shelf, a lot of other booksellers will be a little bit more excited about that. That being said, I do know quite a few that refuse to buy and sell sets because they're like, oh, I bought too many sets that weren't complete, so I didn't get enough money, and da-da-da-da-da. But there are a lot of people who, like me, their bread and butter is sets of books. And for me, I would say sets of books probably, and I'm talking sets of books as few as like 2 in a set, and as much as like 40 some books in a set. But I would say that probably counts for at least a third of my income, and it has for a while at least. And and I would say that definitely would be worth getting into if you guys don't do sets of books just yet. The only red flag disclaimer about sets of books is the amount of space that they can take up. If you guys aren't too worried about space, sets of books all day long. If you guys are worried about space, personally, I made space for sets of books because they do so well for me. And with that said, though, I'm just going to exit out here. Well, not exit out, but stop talking about that for now. So on to this next one. Wait, did we already look at this one? Estatesales.net. Okay. So we are on estatesales.net now. Just looking at this, we have already looked at all of these. So I guess that's it for us today. So thank you guys for watching. I have a lot of other videos that I'm going to be making in the near future. As I've mentioned before, I am probably going... Sorry. I haven't mentioned it on a video, but I mentioned this in the Facebook page or Facebook group, one of those, that I am going to be doing a video on Uline in the very near future. I actually just got a giant shipment from Uline. So Uline, if you guys don't know about it, it's basically like the Costco, but for shipping materials and other things that you need for your business. I love Uline. I don't get any affiliate income from them, so that's a little bit of a sad face for me. But I really love the company. I make a lot of purchases from them. I just bought a little over $300 worth of stuff, and I paid for like $80 shipping, so it was a very expensive purchase. Not too expensive, but I bought a boatload of boxes, bought a boatload of other things, and I'm gonna actually be doing a video on that in the very near future, showing you guys how to use it, all that sort of stuff. So with all that said and done, guys, be sure to subscribe. You can do it down there, in the corner there, there's a lot of places to subscribe, and you guys can check out one of my other videos there, and I will see you guys in the next one.